Believe it or not, we are already entering the last major of the chapter, Major 3, which is the final chance for every single player to qualify for the FNCS Global Championships in Lyon, France. Since all of the tournaments for the Star Wars season have officially concluded, I wanted to go over every single big name player that still needs to be able to qualify for LAN and talk about if I actually believe they are going to be able to qualify for LAN or not. We have a lot of different people to go over in today's video. Real quick, CSRs though, please subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. Please just go K-Dog in the Fortnite item shop if you guys want to support me even more. Follow me on my Twitch, link to the description down below, because we're going to start streaming these tournaments again next season. So make sure you guys just go drop a follow over there if you guys want to watch these tournaments with me. Without further ado though, let's start off this video by going over some of the most prolific LAN players in Fortnite history of Cammy and Hari and their third of Hari. Now this trio has been together since the beginning of Major 1 and their placements in Grand Finals have been 21st and 9th. Now, if you guys are a little bit confused on how many spots are actually available for LAN this upcoming season, it is going to be 4 brand new EU teams, 2 brand new NA Central teams, 1 West team, and we even have 2 OCE teams that we might potentially get an option for some players to maybe move to OCE to try to qualify for LAN. We're already seeing a lot of people announce that they are going to West, similar to how a lot of the EU players moved to NA Central for the very last season to give it their all for one last run at qualifying for LAN, and we will talk about those players later. But the thing with Cammy, Hari, and Hari is it is massively going to depend on whether or not they are going to be uncontested. I feel like they have a very rough uphill battle going into next season because a lot of the teams that have already qualified for LAN are just going to have their drop spots predetermined, and it is pretty dumb for any team to want to contest them, and especially for a team like Cammy, Hari, and Hari, who are already known as like not the best off spawn fighters. It's kind of insane how like progressions of Fortnite careers go, because could you imagine at the beginning of last year telling somebody that just next year Cammy and Hari are at a real risk of not even being able to qualify for LAN? Now I want to put each of these guys in categories and say either yes, I think they'll be able to qualify, no they won't, or maybe I could potentially see it. And I also want to know your guys' opinion in the comment section down below. So starting off with Cammy, Hari, and Hari, I'm honestly gonna go with yes. I think there is a lot of factors like I just talked about that could lead to them not being able to qualify, especially if they are contested, because if they're contested going into Grand Finals, there is no way I'm going to predict them to top 10, let alone qualify for LAN. But I think that these guys are going to be fully locked in, developing strategies, and I think they'll be able to get the job done. Let's now move on to an NA team and a trio that just got back together of Rapid, Booga, and Threats. Now these guys were literally one spot off of being able to qualify for LAN last season. We even saw, unfortunately, in game 12 of Grand Finals, Threats, I'm pretty sure, crashed. And like that is their whole reasoning on why they were not actually able to make it last season. But Booga has literally been like one of the most locked in players ever since trios got announced. He has been fully grinding, and you can definitely say the same for Rapid and Threats as well. Now Central is where the absolute bloodbath for super good trios is where it's actually going to be, because there is definitely more than 2 teams that deserve to be able to make LAN. But unfortunately, just the way that the cards are falling, at least one super good trio from NA is not going to make it. But for me personally, I don't think that's going to be Booga, Threats, and Rapid. I almost have like 100% confidence in this team. They're a high ground oriented team. They're coming off of a Grand Finals, which was literally their first ever grands playing with each other. I think now that they are just slowly building up chemistry, and especially if they are going to stick with each other, like I literally just cannot imagine a LAN event that Booga is not even able to qualify for. So for Rapid, Booga, and Threats, I think they're able to also get the job done and qualify for LAN. For a trio though that I'm probably unfortunately gonna have to predict not to be able to qualify for globals, even though I would absolutely love to see it happen, is going to be Mongrel, Kaido, and Hyjo. Now we did see Kaido tweet out, ready for the whole year with Mongrel and Hyjo. They didn't necessarily look that great in the only tournament that they played with each other in, but they're deciding to stick together as of right now. And obviously for all of these teams, I'm never gonna say like I think it's impossible for them to be able to qualify, but I just personally do not think it's gonna happen. I think on EU this season, it's also going to be very difficult to qualify. You're probably gonna need to get around that top 10 mark on EU, which I mean, I guess Mongrel quite literally did just place top 10 2 seasons ago, but I think a lot of us could probably also agree that currently at this point in their careers, Kaido and Hy are probably not at the same skill caliber as Mr. Savage and Panzer are. I think it would be just a successful season for Mongrel if he was able to make grand finals, get some practice in, and then unfortunately I guess he's gonna have to wait until next year to seriously compete again. But making globals is a very difficult thing, and I can't just say everybody's gonna make it, even if I am a fan of them. Next up though, for a trio that I do think is gonna make it, I got Pink, Nebs, and Kiro. These guys literally grind together so much. They seem to really enjoy playing with each other as well, and this is just an absolutely insane team that is 100% a LAN caliber trio. These guys have impressed me so much in pretty much every single tournament that they played in. They were my dark horse team going into the last grand finals, and I'm pretty sure they finished in like exactly 10th place in grands. And so if we just have to assume from everybody that was already able to qualify, if at least 6 of the teams placed inside of the top 10, which is very likely, then they literally just need to do exactly what they did last season and finish in 10th place again, and they will officially book their ticket to France. I think Pink, Nebs, and Kiro are going to be one of my locks for being able to qualify though. Let's move on to a trio that I'm currently very on the fence about, and that is Bolt, Kanata, and Sphinx. Now, Kanata is coming off of a month vacation, and the thing about this trio in general is I'm honestly very surprised that they even stuck together. It is very rare in Fortnite that we see a player that goes on a month vacation can come back to their trio and still have the exact same team. But I guess that just shows some ultimate loyalty from this trio, and they look like they are still going to be sticking together and grinding going into next season. I'm currently at a maybe for whether I think these guys are going to be able to qualify for LAN or not, for many different factors. The main one though is they really haven't showed me any reason why I would want to say they are going to be one of the 2 teams that are going to make LAN. I feel like it is very obvious that they all have the individual skill level to be able to make LAN. I'm pretty sure all of them literally made LAN last year as well, so them not making it this year would honestly be a major disappointment, but I don't even necessarily know if I want to say it would be a major surprise. They've placed 7th place in the only Cash Cup and Grand Finals that they have played together. They're also coming off of an entire season of no practice with each other at all. I wasn't very high on them going into last Grand Finals, and I don't think necessarily anything has really changed either, since we just quite literally haven't seen them play together at all. I 100% want these guys to qualify. I'm definitely rooting for them and think that they can pull it off, but this is my first trio that I am currently in the maybe category for. This is also one that I really want to know your guys' opinion on in the comment section down below, because I'm so back and forth on these guys right now. But the thing about NA and why this is so difficult is because the other current trio of Rise, Muzz, and G Money, I don't even know if I'm necessarily like any more confident in them than I am in Bolt, Kanata, and Sphinx. And going back to what I was saying originally, it is just so crazy that one of the 3 trios of either Rise's trio, Bolt's trio, or Booga's trio will not be able to make it. I think Booga is my only person that I am like 100% confident in that should be able to qualify, but then I think that last spot is really just up in the air. For which team I'm actually more confident in, I feel like I kind of just got to go with Rise, Muzz, and G Money, just because we have seen less from them in general, so they have more of that like mystique to them. I mean, they placed 6th place in the only Cash Cup that they have played together. I think if you're just going pure talent wise, Bolt's trio probably does beat Rise's trio in that category. Actually, to be honest, by the time Grand Finals comes around, I think we're still going to be in the exact same spot that we are today, and it's just going to be a full 50-50 on who you're actually going to predict to be able to make LAN between these 2 trios. So this is another trio that I'm currently leaning towards that maybe possibility. Let's go back to some teams that I am confident in though, and I want to talk about Thomas HD's new trio of Sky and Scroll. Now yes, I will go a lot more in depth on this trio when I make my video on all of the updated brand new trios, but as of right now, I really like this team. I think Sky is the one who is going to be IGLing these guys. Thomas HD has looked so primed recently, finding his way on the top of pretty much every single damage leaderboard it seems like, and I think that the all Danish trio is going to be able to pull off the qual and make it to global championships. There's just so many different things that I like on this trio, from the fighting ability to the storm surge ability to the IQ of all of these players. I know Sky and Scroll are still some of the younger players in the game, but don't let that distract you from the fact that these guys are super smart players. They know what they're doing, they know how to make it into end games. And another thing that's like pretty random, but I didn't know that Thomas HD is already 23 years old. Happy belated birthday to you. But besides the point, this is a trio that I am very excited to watch, not only for the Cash Cups, but come time for FNCS Grand Finals, I think they'll be able to get the job done and qualify to Globals. The next trio I want to talk about is arguably the biggest team on this entire list of Mr. Savage, Rezon, and Chap. Now, honestly, off of the first couple of tournaments that I have watched from these guys, I have absolutely loved what I have been seeing out of them. There is still definitely some flaws in their game that they do need to improve on, but of course, though, they still have a whole entire month to do that before FNCS tournaments even officially start. I love the fighting power on this team. I love what they are doing with each of their roles. Mr. Savage being more of that main IGL / tarper, and then Rezon and Chap getting to play the fragging role. I think that they're able to fix up some of their things like their Stormster strategy, which a lot of it right now is just W keying people. And if you are a trio that wants to be able to qualify for LAN, you need as much consistency in your game plan as possible, and taking mid-game fights for 12 out of 12 games in a grand finals is never going to be a recipe for success unless you're literally just like the greatest fighting team of all time, which I think a lot of us can probably agree that they are not. Do I think that this team will be able to qualify for the global championships? And the only set lobby final Cash Cups we saw them play, one of them they almost placed dead last in, and then the other one they got 4th place. So in my opinion, I think they have already shown that they have the potential to 100% top 10 a grand finals. Like a lot of these other trios though, it's mainly going to come down to whether or not they are actually going to be uncontested. I think that is why on NA especially, so many of those teams, we don't really have to talk about fighting off spawn, because a lot of the trios that still need to qualify for LAN on NA, they're probably going to be uncontested the entire season. But I can just not confidently say that I want to believe that Mr. Savage is going to be uncon the entire season. I feel like we also haven't got a large enough sample size yet of watching them fight off spawn to say if we really believe they can alpha a super good POI. But the thing about them is I don't even necessarily feel like they need like a top 3 POI on the map to make LAN. If they can just get like a mid-tier drop spot, be uncontested, I am pretty confident in this trio's ability to be able to qualify for LAN. Similar to why I believe in Cammy, and Hari so much, even though I know at this point I have said multiple times I need to stop believing in Cammy, and Hari. I promise this is going to be my last time right here. If they don't qualify for LAN, I think I'm kind of just fully done with them. But currently, I think I want to lean towards yes, saying that Mr. Savage, Rezon, and Chap will be able to make globals. Let's talk about some trios that I'm not 100% sure are even going to be sticking together for the entire season. Starting off with, we have Shark, Comeback, and Blaha. I feel like as of right now, I am leaning more towards that no factor for them. I was so high on the trio of Comeback, Blaha, and Mixin. Last grand finals, they were fully uncontested, and they just completely dudded. And Shark also just in general doesn't have any insane grand finals placements yet. So to say he's gonna go from not getting a single top 10 in grands to just qualifying for LAN, I don't know if I'm 100% ready to make that commitment to this trio yet, especially since there is the real possibility that they could just split up with each other. I also don't know though how many better options Shark is actually going to get for a trio that still needs to be able to qualify for LAN. That is why I'm probably leaning more towards the no side for predicting these guys to qual LAN, and I would honestly be pretty pleasantly surprised if they were able to though. A trio that I think has all the capabilities to do it, but do I think they're actually going to be able to pull it off, of Yapo, Mixin, and Panzer. This is a trio that I am also leaning towards the maybe side. Panzer has already shown before that he can almost lead a grand finals in damage. Yapo was one of the best NA players when he came to NA for a couple of months. And then Mixin, very similar to Comeback and Blaha, really did disappoint me last season, but I think these 3 players can really mesh together well. And I do want to say that I honestly do believe in their potential to be able to qualify for LAN, but I think this is just one of the most straightforward examples of a team to predict for maybe. Another trio that I hope they do stick together, but I wouldn't be surprised if they split, is Shadow, Virgo, and Craze. But these guys literally finished like top 2 in a Cash Cup together, I'm pretty sure. The last Cash Cup of the season was a little bit disappointing for them. They are still showing these signs of being a pretty inconsistent trio. I think if anybody is going to break into one of the 3 main trios that needs to qualify, it is going to be these guys. Craze has been super impressive recently. I've honestly loved what I've been seeing out of him from an IGL perspective, but the thing about NA Central especially is there is only 2 spots available on it. This is definitely a trio that I think should be open to the possibility about maybe playing on West for the very final season. It looks like as of right now, they are pretty committed to wanting to stay on Central, but Virgo was quite literally gonna go to West to play with Victor V and Paper until he got the option to play with Craze and Shadow. So if he is able to convince Craze and Shadow like, yo, let's just play West, we're gonna have a much better chance qualifying from one of these spots on West compared to 2 spots on Central, then I really wouldn't hate that idea, but I just don't know. That is why I am putting them in the maybe category. And one of the few trios that we do so far have confirmation are going to West is Bucky, Oakis, Vegas, and Dukes. Now this trio, ever since they formed together, they have been pretty consistent in being able to qualify for finals, and I of course don't want to put too much weight on an actual Star Wars season on my trajectory of how good I think they're going to do in a season that actually matters, where people are full grinding and actually trying to place the best that they can. I don't know why so many people though, and I'm not talking about the pros, but I mean like the audience, they are acting like it is way easier than is actually going to be on West to be able to qualify. There's quite literally only one spot available over there. That is why, especially for this trio, I am kind of leaning a little bit more towards that no side right now. I think it is definitely possible, and there's 100% not anywhere near as many good trios on NA West as there is on Central, but this trio is probably going to need to get either top 2 or top 3 on West, and that is no easy task either. With that though, I think I went over pretty much every single trio I wanted to talk about in today's video. Let me know if I missed anybody in the comment section down below, and I'll try to go over in my next one. Remember, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. We're gonna have so many unique videos coming out over the next couple of days, including me finally ranking the top 10 individual players in the world. Please just go K-Dog in the Fortnite item shop if you guys want to support me even more. YouTube says enjoy one of these videos up on the screen right now, so go check them out if you guys haven't already. Follow me on my Twitter and my Twitch, link in the description down below if you guys want to keep up to date with me. Thank God for another day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.